inspirational and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about...
No problem. Yes, good evening and welcome to the Everything Agriculture Show. And thanks you all for tuning into Real Entertainment Network. It's the first Friday of March. So greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. You could be doing anything on a Friday evening. So this evening we'll have a few topics to talk about. But before we get into that, let me say good evening to the folks in the Federation of Layamiga and Oli. Also good evening to the folks in the neighboring islands, Sabre, Statia, St. Bart's, Montserrat, the US Virgin Islands, the BVI, also the folks over in Antigua and Barbuda, and the folks over in Bermuda. Also the folks over in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, Grenada, and the folks throughout the whole Caribbean. Also the folks over in the diaspora, North America, Canada, Boston, all the way down to the Florida Keys, all the way over to Europe, Africa, and not forgetting our students over in Costa Rica studying agriculture. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, whether it's good morning, good evening, whichever is appropriate. This evening we have a lot of things to talk about. I realize recently the agriculture topic, the general public seem to lash on and agriculture and have a lot to say. I have a concern about agriculture and the seriousness about the food import bill. And yes, we've been dealing with this for going on 5 years. I guess everybody start to lash on and realize the importance of agriculture. I guess they figure we're just talking. And now people calling in and really realize that the government need to be held responsible and really get this monkey situation under control and all this different stuff. So earlier last week, I went up to New York for 3 days. My daughter got married, so I went to surprise her. So that was an emotional time for both her and myself to show her support. So that was a beautiful thing. My first youth, Jamila, and her husband, Daniel, wonderful guy. They have a beautiful life, taking care of each other. So definitely that I'm a proud dad. And was beautiful, small wedding and small get together and beautiful company. They have some beautiful friends around them. When you're in an environment, when you have a lot of youths around 20, 25 and 21, 26, all positivity, you don't really find that environment. You tend to hear a lot of negative things about the youths and them. When you're in an environment over 40-something youths and all of them positive, well respectable, it's a beautiful thing. So the future is really in a great hand. So definitely just want to say to my daughter, congrats again, to Jamila and her husband Daniel. But I'm under the weather, so y'all got to work with me, because New York cold now, hell. Trust me. I don't know how I feel right now. But I know, yes, how you do that, them too old for this crap, brethren. Up there too cold. Yeah, I'm under the weather since I come back Saturday. Since Tuesday, I'm under the weather. I still under the weather, so I'm fighting it right now. But it's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to be back home in the tropics, back on the farm and stuff like that. Have a few melon going to be harvesting next week, and then a lot more melon going to be harvesting at the end of the month. We are going to be having a melon fest, melon medley, and a cannabis 420 at once. So have a lot of cannabis trees already coming up. Definitely want to hit at least 200 plus trees. So right now, so definitely that is something gonna be coming on April 6th. Also coming up in March, the end of this month, the 27th and 28th is the Agriculture Open Day, and the patron is Daniel Atherton, which is a very good person to choose to be the patron. I mean, Danny have always been in the agricultural sector, set up the marketing division and stuff like that in agriculture department, and where farmers could have access to drip lines and materials and stuff like that. These things don't exist no more, and that's a sad thing when you have different people running that area marketing and just messed up everything. I don't know what's going on, but it's just a sad thing right now. But definitely we'll get into a lot of these discussion this evening. So, Yason, what's going on with you?
Well, greetings. Good to be here on another edition of Everything Agriculture. It's always to be able to communicate with the masses and be a part of any discussion that is in relation to agriculture and the development of agriculture, not just nationally, but also regionally and globally, as food crisis, food security, food sovereignty happens to be a global issue. However, we are based in the tropics, and St. Kitts and Nevis is very much dear to our heart, and we seek to push the issues and bring whatever issues and whatever ideas and suggestions we may have to be able to improve the agro industry. One of the things that I really love about the contributions that we seek to make is that we don't just come and critique or criticize, but we actually do provide solutions, suggestions, and we do actually play active roles in seeking to improve the agricultural sector, whether it is in Kitts and Nevis, whether it is in a regional capacity, or whether it is in an international capacity. We always seek to do that. And this program also is testament of this. As you mentioned earlier, it's almost 5 years we're heading on to with this, just giving our time and effort and committing to dealing with this issue. So if you're talking about a testament of commitment in regards to agriculture, this is one, because we're not being paid to do this. We just do this because of our passion and our drive and our zeal to see agriculture become that top priority that it used to be, could be, should be, and we definitely would work and give every effort and power and strength within us to ensure that we can do that for us today and our future generation. As you talk about, your daughter's wedding, you look at it that way, man. So you can remember when she was just a little, toddler. Now today you realize that she's a big woman now. So we're talking about the future generations, right? And so these
Yes,
are the
sir.
ones that things that we are doing today is for us, yes, but it's more so for them. And so we have them to be able to pass on the baton too, so that they can, carry on that relay race that we have started right now. So I look forward to the discussions. I look forward to the comments and the calls from those who usually participate, because without the contribution of the masses, we basically would be here talking to ourselves. So we really want to thank you too for being a part. And for those of you who make it your business every week to tune in, and the others who also, tell a friend and tag a friend and or share the link, whether it's via Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch TV, we truly appreciate every little effort as we seek to build this platform, Real Entertainment Network. So, and we must also, as I must take a little time here also to give thanks to the team at Real Entertainment Network,
That's
who
right.
to many who might see seamlessness but they're the ones who really do a lot of the hard work behind the scenes and all that. So I really have to
That's
give
right.
thanks to the team, the
Big up
entire
Ira
team,
and the crew.
whole
Reese.
team. We, Chev,
Yes, right.
Alan, everybody, the whole crew.
Yes, right.
I truly appreciate the efforts, and it's
Beautiful family,
mainly, yeah, man, mainly Nevis production, and to see
Yes, right.
that would have started from then and to reach to this capacity. It's a lot of work that they would have put in. Would have gotten opportunity to have some of the big major interviews on social media, especially with some of the top politicians and other persons of repute within our realm, and we continue to, as much as possible, do that and to continue to build the platform. So we really give thanks to all those who continue to support Real Entertainment Network, and we will continue to, make our little contribution as the journey continues.
Yes, and we want to also remind you guys to always share the link and let ones and ones know everything agriculture is on, and to tune in and to spread the word. And if you want to be a part of the discussion, the telephone number is 1-869-662-7196. Definitely, we always look forward for the interaction, because we can't do it without you guys. So definitely, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. But Yason, you realize the 2025 agenda have moved beyond to 2030, and 2025 just begin. Also, the minister said in the House he's going to start the second phase at Indian Castle in the first quarter. I just want to remind the minister that this is the first quarter, and May. So I want to know. Remember, the minister shut down the monkey program, which could assist farmers to the control of the monkey and take all that money and put it into culture armor. So it shows the minister is failing, have no interest in agriculture except working up at culture armor time and playing the string band and whatever and all this different stuff on cruise boat and all this. And now he end up all on the music festival. So you see what it's all about. It's all about himself. Everybody just parading and not thinking about the poor man when it comes to agriculture. So I don't understand these things, but you can't maintain. And also, I want to tell the general public, stop calling me every day and telling me how embarrassed you all are at Indian Castle, taking people from overseas down there and stuff like that. Call the whole cabinet, call Mr. Brantley, call Mr. Truss, call Try, call Spencer Brand, call Mr. Evelyn, call the cabinet and hold them responsible. Indian Castle don't belongs to me. I am focused at Cades Bay on my farm. So you all don't need to call me and tell me how embarrassed it is and how down they run down and all these things, and they need to hire me back. The minister, if they want me, don't give them proposal. The minister ain't supposed to make more money than me because he fail. Nobody in agriculture is supposed to make more money than me. And that's just what it is. You got to pay me for my knowledge. Because those who you put down there is who had the worst to say about Indian Castle. And the same person you put to manage down there is who make it runway. You see? The same person who had the worst to say about Indian Castle, the minister put him back down there. And he was down there before I went down there. And down there was overgrown with the whole area. And now he put him back down there. What do you think going to happen? But at the minister best friend. You see? And So that's why you see the box is tapped with the premier. So I can always hold the premier foot to the fire. Yes, son, let me see if this call are coming, because somebody call me with it. Don't know if a call coming in. Well, let me see what's going on with this here.
Yes. Well,
Hello?
Banky, in relation to the
Let
ministers,
me call you back. I'm online. I'm live on the show.
yeah. Let me show you, right? In regards
Yeah.
to the comments you made in relation to the minister, right? My
Yes.
thing is, he's the minister of agriculture. He's also the minister of
Yes.
culture. So I am not going to seek to bash him, so to speak, for his effort and push in regards to culture, because all of those things that he's might be doing may be helpful in culture and shows a very good image in that area. My issue is with his part to play with agriculture. That is where I would limit my discussion. I am just looking at what's going on Nevis, and would hope that with no the, we have started to step back from the 25 by 25 agenda. I'm just hoping that what we saw happening, even though we were pushed for the 25 agenda, does not
Mm-hmm.
continue. Like, we don't lack more because no, okay, well, we don't have 25 by 25. We have 5 more years to play with. I would just be hopeful that a lot of these things that really should have happened could really be activated, and like now more than ever. Banky, for example, um, we look at some of the things that's happening in the world today, with all of the threats of tariffs being imposed on various territories. And we sometimes, who are in these neck of the woods, sometimes don't really look at the bigger picture like that and realize that we might say, oh, yeah, that's happening out there. But if you are
Yes.
in a position where you're almost importing everything that you're using in your territory, then these tariffs are going to affect you. And so
Keep
you
the
have
price of
that
food.
issue. Exactly. You have that issue. Then you also have the threat of wars,
Yes.
like, which means also that would also hamper the shipping, the movements again, which we would have seen. So you have those issues coupled with the reality of global food shortage, global food security. I am thinking that this is something that you really need to focus on. We see issues like what has happened in the recent times with eggs, um, and how right now the world is so dependent on such an industry. And I can't help to think. I created a post a couple of days ago, and like, I can't, you know I just begin to imagine what Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis, and even Nevis would have been like if we were in a position. I mean, yes, I get the argument that at this point we are fully sustained in terms of eggs. It's only around December that we do have to import. But I am thinking not just and sometimes I don't know if that is just, if those comments to some extent, people get justified by making such comments. But the reality is, if you're doing this as a business, you shouldn't just necessarily be thinking of um, sustaining yourself. You should also be poised to fill in some of these markets as well. You have a couple of Caribbean territories that's next to you that may have, issues. So, you know, um, I hear the argument also about, even if you're supposed to boost the industry and so on, um, there's still the issue of getting feed. Well, if you're getting into certain industries, then there is also the need for you to upgrade. And if you need to get a machine so that you can make your own pellets and make your own feed and so on, it should be a part of your investment. So,
Yes.
some of these things, we really need to pay attention to. And then as you speak, I would have heard about the hatchery and Synkit. I know that it has been
Yes.
activated. How much of an impact is it having on our ability to have, chickens, whether it's just for layer, does it just feature for layer? It focuses on broiler. Do we have a broiler, a steady broiler production facility? On Nevis side, I know we invested in a broiler facility. Are we in a position to stay? How soon will that industry be, fully activated, or that machine be activated and that aspect of it be operated? I am not certain. But these are things that, as we continue to look at the bigger picture, we have to consider. I would have heard that the and I guess since I'm on the meat side of things, this is why I'm going to interject this. I think I've heard that the Louisiana University is going to come to some training in terms of meat production and so on. Things like
Yes.
that are very, very good, really, really good, so that we can get our farmers and our specs up to date and so on. And I'm hoping that these kind of training would be in the light of seeking to get our product to meet the standard to also export, because as much as we think about sustaining our economy, and when I say export, it might not necessarily be in the raw meat farm, but whether it's burger patties, fish patties, things like that, or things like that. So we really have to think more about expanding some of these agro industries, because the reality is it will create employment for more people. It will create opportunities for learning new skills, because if you're supposed to increase these kind of production and so on, then it means you're going to get into more machinery. When you get these machines, it's going to need people to operate in some cases. If not operate, they may need to learn the softwares that operate these technology and so on. So they would need, there's a lot of scope if we're really supposed to get serious with agriculture and take it to the level that we really should. In relation to your point about being in the first quarter, that is something, again, we're in a society, right, Banky, and this is our reality. Some people say it's I usually hear it in Jamaica. I don't know if it's the same kind of thinking here in Nevis. Think it's Nevis as well, where they say like it's 9 days, where the story come out, there's some hot story, and it's only hot for about 9 days, and then that's it. So
7 days,
because we know that the masses are like that. The politicians and so on get away with a lot of these things because they bring up something and then nobody even remember about that, because nobody is going to go back to say, well, okay, boy, yeah, you did say that, and we are holding you accountable. See, now it's the third quarter, and I'm sorry, the first quarter, and we ain't seen nothing happen yet. So
yes,
I am wondering if it's because of these kind of things why certain things are allowed to just but right now, Banky, we hold these people feet to the fire, not necessarily because we are, seeking to be. Let me speak for myself, because me right now, you political. So I was gonna say not because we're seeking to be political, but just because we're also passionate about agriculture, and we see, it's like we really see that if we don't do this, the problems that's going to be for our parents, because we still have our parents to make sure that they're okay.
Of course.
Our sisters and brothers and auntie and uncles, and the people and Nevis on a whole, because we live in a country and these people are our friends and related in some way. We met them somewhere, and everybody almost know everybody. And so when we realize that, we're at that stage where we are right now depending on a boat to come in to fill the shelves of the supermarket. If that is not happening, I think that's the only time people are going to really realize, okay, we have a food crisis, because the boats are coming in weekly, so they don't have to worry. They're working, most people are working, they got money, they could go and buy food. So in their minds, we are secured. Food security is not a major issue. When it gets to that point, which it is going to, and also with the tariffs, And people start to see that what they used to, like eggs, you could use, egg is a good example right now, because we see on the world scale, on the world, scale of things, page of things, how egg was just the other day at this price, and then the crazy price that it has gone to because of some of these issues, right? Whether it's the disease, and whether it's tariffs and so on. So these are things that we are going to have to really seriously consider as we move on, and as we really continue to keep our elected officials in check, because at the end of the day, still, we can do as much as we can, but then we hire them and put them in a position to assist us and to be there to help, to support. And so if we give you a job, and then at the end of the day we come and we have to challenge you and hold your foot to the fire, you shouldn't be upset, because the job you're doing, you shouldn't really take it with a pinch of salt and just go and do what you really need to do to help the people. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, but your son, you can't. The agriculture department can maintain phase 1, but they want to do phase 2. That don't make no sense. You see what I mean? This don't make no sense. So who fooling who? You can't maintain phase 1 just to maintain it, and then the trees that are dead. So how you're not even taking care? You shift all the stuff that was there with me. They move them. They moved Marvin Lewis, pull him over New River, and then they bring him back down Indian Castle again. Just tug a war back and forth. Then I want nobody who was under my watch. I know they realize they can't do it without Marvin Lewis, and they bring him back down there again. So you see the personal stuff going on, and this is the helm of the minister. This have nothing to do with the director, It's the minister handpick the gentleman who he put down there, the minister, handpick him, and he know the gentleman don't do no work. And that is a sad thing when they make such an investment. Instead, he take his pride and add to what that was there, and maintain it and add to it. He just gonna rip up everything, plow up the land with all the drip line them inside there, rip up the banana trees and them. It's a shame. It's a real shame. The department have Department of Agriculture have a lot of people like to less. Yes.
No, what you saying there about ripping up banana trees and what you saying about ripping up banana trees?
The man bringing a tractor and rip up all the banana trees and then plow up everything, plow up all the sugar cane and them, and said then it look good. What is not look good about sugar cane? Sugar cane is something that is needed. You ever hear the crazies like that? Sugar cane is something that is always needed. The amount of sugar cane they don't plant over Cades Bay. 4 seasons one sugar cane. Once people come to a farm and they got sugar cane, they go crazy because Navy's people have a culture.
No man, Banky. No
man. Just when they talk about this thing, you think it's joke
You're not telling me that a farmer, a farmer would say that and also pull up banana trees, push down banana trees and no, bang. Me don't want to believe that. I mean, I don't. I'm not saying that you're lying. I don't want to believe it.
The facts are there. You see what I'm talking about? Plow up all the jeep line them with the tractor. Just plow them up, rip them up. You see, rip them up. When I had everything well maintained, you see, people see you do things, and don't know the commitment. You see what I mean? Before 6:30, I done that Indian Castle. I opened the gate. And I close the gate, because it's not because if you have electrical wire or not. The electrical fence now works since I've been down there. The whole place full of a bush. It's every day people calling me, Every day. I tell them stop calling me phone. Call the cabinet, call the minister. I live in Indian Castle. The minister that pass me 2 and 3 times a day, 4 times a day ahead of Indian Castle, but all the time. And he now come down here go walking, but he go walk up Hanley's Road. But he now come down by the farm because he have no interest. You see? These are the sad thing about it. So how can you take these people serious? The amount of traffic used to come to Indian Castle. All the schools used to come at Indian Castle. Now the schools are coming at my farm. You see, I just was in New York on Friday. When I was in New York, you had VOJ and nearly 70-something students along with the teachers at my farm. You understand? And they had the walkathon and stay there, enjoying the farm, children are having a great time and stuff like that. If I wasn't there, that came at Indian Castle, because you have to take pride in what you do. But we have a lot of people that have to talk. But at the end of the day, you can fool some people sometime, but you can't fool all the people all the time. You see, and that's the thing about it. It's a real shame when in these times how the world fighting about food, and the reason why I created down there as a food bank for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, because agro-processing need food and the excess could go to the general public. And that is what it was used for all the time. The general public always benefited. Ain't nothing come out of Indian Castle since I left down there in the Virgin. And I done left over a year. And not even one crop come out of Indian Castle. And nobody can tell the gentleman nothing. Neither the director, neither the deputy director, because he don't, the gentleman tell them he only answered to the minister, so nobody could tell him nothing. And these are how you see these things is not kind of professionalism. You understand? Where would you put someone in charge of a project 40 acres when he had the worst to say? Nothing gonna go down, everything gonna fail.
Wait.
I'm telling you.
Hold on.
Nothing gonna go down there. It's a joke.
Right? Because I had a question, right? And I see the question in the comment. So let me I take the time out to maybe go through some of the comments. I really want to let the folks know that one of the things with this program, we do check the Facebook page and we do really respond to the comments as much as possible. Sometimes we get into heated engagements and so on, and we might overlook it, but it's not something that we usually do. On this platform, we usually take care of your comments. So feel free to share your comments. And if you want to call in on the show, the number is 1-869-662-7196. Right? That's it, right?
Yes.
Thank you. 7196.
Yes.
Okay, right. That's the number to call in. I think I just showed it in the chat. But here is the comments. The comments. Yeah, I come like I lose. But anyway, the question was though, how in anyone's right mind that they could plow up drip lines? Like, what's the rationale for plowing up drip lines when drip lines are something that costs money? You gotta eventually,
buy them back.
Go back and buy them back. So that
and these are brand new drip line. Indian Castle in 4 years old. So those and drip line can last for 15, 20 years. It basically a lifetime. And the man just plow them up. Acres and acres of drip line, man, just plow up. So stuff like that, you're supposed to fire that person one time. What rationale can you give to plow up drip line and plow up banana cheese and all these things?
Okay, you see, Banky, as I listen to these things, right, and this is where I guess it comes back to what we keep saying in terms of accountability, because
yes,
if you have these things happening, then nobody is being spoken to or addressed or penalized, then how do you justify that then? How do you justify going back in to the budget to say to go back to say we need drip irrigation? Because if you're saying no, you just cut up some irrigation there and you're even talking about phase 2. But even if you're going to set back up phase 1 properly, you're still gonna need some of those same drip irrigations, which means now the taxpayers. So this is why I'm talking about accountability. So if these things that you're saying, Banky, is really truth, and well, as I said, I don't think you're lying, but I'm going to put it that way. As long as this is true, Banky, then these need to be addressed.
Yes. Because
it is us, the taxpayers, who are paying this. Anyway, let me go to some of the comments. So right, because I had to cut out. I missed some of the comments. But anyway, Ounce says, greetings all. What is the logic behind plowing the drip line? That's the question. That came from Ounce. Shante L. Book, good evening. She says, he says, square pegs in round holes. Elvan Ellie says, when I call Mark Brantley by name and tell him he's responsible for drip line and farms being trampled down by people think I'm stupid and crazy. I am not crazy. That premier you got in Nevis, he's doing a lot of wrong things and destroying crops of blood upon his shoulder. You may make people hungry, blood on your shoulder. He says, my sincere belief, just as Donald Trump got no business in the White House, Mark Brantley got no business calling himself Mayor of Nevis, that dirty boy need to go. Okay, now, yes, at the same time, we can hold the premier accountable because the buck stops with the premier. But however, there is a minister of agriculture, and
Yes.
there are other people in that ministry, and these people have their responsibilities, and they're paid by us, the taxpayers. And if you're telling me that a member, as this you said, you made a comment earlier. You said that a member said that he does not have to answer to the director and the PS and stuff because he speaks
Tell the
directly
director
to the
straight up in the
minister.
face. Tell the director straight up in the face.
How could
I
that-
don't
how
answer
could that-
to
How
you.
could that be continued? How could this kind of? But then we shouldn't expect anything better from agriculture then, because if this is
Well,
going
that's the
on
whole
and this
point.
can, because if you're telling me that there are people who are hired and are paid for certain positions and are told blatantly, well, it's like you're telling me then, it makes sense to have my position because no care what you say, I just got to talk to my minister.
Yes.
And
The
so
man say you
these
only answer to the
things,
minister. Nobody could tell the man nothing. You see? The man say the minister put it there, and he only he's the chief extension officer, and he a fail. So how can the younger the younger extension officers them respect him? The young extension officers don't have the respect for the chief extension officer. That's the whole point.
Banky,
No respect.
there's a
Have no
question.
respect for him. Yes.
There's a question here for you. Somebody said, where did the idea come from, Banky, to plant all those coconut trees down there? So maybe you could expound on that.
Well, because remember, they have a lot of young people importing coconut from St. Vincent, and instead of importing all these things, and when the coconut come, it don't make no sense. So the best thing to do, plant a lot of soursop trees, all kind of different indigenous fruit trees like sugar apple, soursop, guavas to make jams and all this different stuff, gooseberries and coconut. You cannot have too much of coconut because at the same time you can get fresh coconut and get them here, and you're getting fresh stuff instead of bringing stuff from overseas. You don't know how long they had been picked, and then when you go, some might spoil. And then the second phase would have been all coconut out of the plant, all coconut and soursop, because we already make a link with Grenada, which would have get 10,000 soursop trees, 5,000 would have go to Sinkit, and 5,000 would have planted on the second phase. You see? So they can't do it. They cannot do it. They call me all the time, and they're calling me all the time, your son, and ask me where you going to take for me to come back. I have no interest. You see? I have no interest, my brethren. I'm focused on myself. Have no interest because the minister called me when me leave, and sit me in the office and I beg me. Well, suppose I give you the position. Me no want it. Me no want it, I'm not a person who desperate and run down money and kind of vibe. That is not my thing. That's a damn thing. I'm a content person. You see what I mean? I'm not one that person who will run around. So you can't offer me a position when me never asked for the position. Are you play politics? You see? Them playing politics. You understand? So I done ready to like long time. And you see where I'm at? I don't do so much sins. Because that's how the universe works. Because people see you do things, have to take the passion, have the know-how. Because you remember when down there started, you have all the people with PhD saying nothing going to go down there. It's a whole halabaloo is going on down there, A whole halabaloo. And the whole general public remember that, all the PhDs and the masters and the this say nothing gonna go down there. No avocado could go down there, and the biggest avocado tree down there. And the biggest source of tree, the biggest everything I got and a reap from down there. Ain't no farm wheat produce from Indian Castle than when it was down there. No farm in the Nevis wheat watermelon and no estate in the Nevis than when I was down there. Not one. You see, but nothing could go down there. So it shows people should not be intimidated by people who think they have PhDs and all this stuff. Experience is the key. People don't get on the high horse when they're on a mic and play politics and talk kind of nonsense. Now you have a brother who is an entomologist at Florida State University, Oscar Leibod. You understand? And when Oscar came down there, I make sure at the same time I make sure I bring the former PS Huey Sargent, so he could have meet Oscar at the same time. And Oscar saying, "Boy, I hear, and I'm ready to go back to the States. I only know I enjoying my vacation now." He did not know that place that exists. Blown away. He said, "This is what I'm going to use as a part of my thesis when it comes to teaching his class." Because he is who the US sent all over the world when it comes to pest management and all different stuff. And he was blown away. He said, "What you have here, ain't no sea blast down here. You have, you close and you have a little breeze. You have a way to, this is where you can control your pests from the sodium." You see what I'm talking about? So people that just talk and don't have no clue, it's all about management system, and plants will adapt to the environment. Ain't have no plants down, they have no sea blast, no kind of burn, nothing. Blown away. So all he used to hush up the mouth. He had that people, "Oh, the banana gonna go. Ain't nothing gonna go." But he just talk. I don't know what people say. Once me do something, he must walk. Must walk, because Israel is a desert. Israel is a desert, a desert, and produce the most food. So how the hell you gonna tell me Nevis not gonna desert now, eh? So you see, and the next thing where I did that is to show people at Indian Castle and Gingerland, protect your land. They want to give you all those land at Indian Castle to the hotels and all kind of something. So where development going to go for the people in Gingerland? Where the people of Hallies Road going to use for the development to expand? When you want to give all those beautiful coastline for hotels and all these things. That's craziness. We have been bamboozled by these politicians around here. And all them is canardists. Ain't no political party around here. People not supposed to support none of them. None of them. Neither none in Sinkits, in Nevis. They all are the same thing. They don't have the people interest at heart. You understand? They keep playing the people for suckers. You understand? And they cannot do the work. Look how they look like some fool. What they going to say? I well want to see them start the second phase. Trust me, I'm waiting, your son. I'm dreaming on it. Because you don't clean the land, because I tell them if I don't clean the land and I don't have this, so because we don't all the way down there, we don't add all the way, they widen up a land and housing, your son. Over 200 rolls of wire up a land and housing a sit down. More than a year now. So the minister and the whole cabinet can't turn out the material there. He got electrical fence up there and solar panels. Electrical panel, do you understand? For the electrical fence. And over 200 rolls of wire. I don't been get with Hasfords to get the 4-inch and 6-inch pipe and all them things there. But because me seminar don't know, everything starts at a standstill. They bring out a team from Sinkits, from planning in a Nevis, planning in a Sinkits, farmer director, is a whole team, only me one, and Desmond Bartlett, who was the water guy. And now they have a whole team of nearly 20-something people, and they still can't start. They come to me and say, "Banky, they're going to have to bring you on board because we can't figure out this year." They have nothing to do with me. You see? Because I love to shut down things. So you see, they can't start it. Because you got to show people, when they're being disrespectful, you make them look like a fools. So you see how foolish they are, look? They cannot do phase 2. They cannot do it because the plan is in my head. Me not on paper in a virgin. The plan is in my head. The layout, everything is in my head. Nothing on paper. They can't do it. They cannot do it, virgin. So I want this, we don't get money to clean all the next 60 acres. So you understand? It's a shame. And see right
no,
now,
Banky. No, hold on. I don't want you to make that comment
yes.
there. I don't want you to make that comment
Which
there.
one?
You know why?
Which one?
Where you say
Which
about,
one?
where you said that you want to see where they're gonna find the next set of money from to clean the land again. Because the
Where they find the money
reality is,
from?
the
Eh,
reality is some monies would have, and this is what we're talking about in terms of the accountability again, because some monies would have
yes.
already been spent to clean that land, and we would have heard
Yes.
a number called by the premier saying that at that point, that is what he knew.
Yes.
The business were. Now,
And that
that
wasn't
project didn't go
the
any
full
further.
payment. That was
And
some that was
and that,
that was some
but that Banky, that's over a year now, right? So I'm certain
yes.
that that area would be abs
Mm-hmm.
up again, and it means that whether
Long
they're going to do
time.
it
Long
on
time. That
the taxpayers
wilderness.
are going
That
to have to pay,
wilderness.
taxpayers would have to pay to clean it again, right?
Of course. Of
And
course.
it might be done even if they're not going to
Yes.
complete it, because you know and I know, and I'm sure a lot of
Yes.
the people who are listening us know that whenever it comes close to an election, we always see these kind of things happen where they try to start projects and not finish, but just try to start it to say, well, they get some, publicity stunt to move in and get the people hyped up for the next, put them back in office. Now, Banky, I don't know about, I can't speak to a lot of different ministries and so on, but when it comes to agriculture, these things bother
Yes.
me. And it's just like to my passion about cannabis. That is how I get to find out a lot of things about CARICOM too. Because of my passion, I make it my business to learn about these things. And so when it comes to agriculture, I'll be zooming on these things. And so, yes, it has nothing to do with personalities. Because
Yes, I.
as far as I know, me and the minister supposed to be good friends. I mean, he was my teammate at Van Radio. We work together on a regular basis. I never know that we have any personal issues. However, you are in a position representing a ministry that deals with a subject matter that I have been involved with, you could say, all my life. Because I grew up, you see the orchard over there where I have, and the orchard in the
Yes,
yard in
I.
Fountain Inn just happened overnight. Is
Of
years
course.
here.
Yes.
And I met that, grew up having to tend to that and maul up and pick hog meat and feed the pigs, and you know what I mean. And then I went on to teaching agricultural science. I've done several workshops and so on, set up my own agribusiness and so on. So it is something that I am passionate about. It's nothing personal. I have nothing personal, Minister. If I need to make a disclaimer and all, I would do it here. Nothing personal against you.
Yeah,
When it comes to
but
the
the minister
work,
understand that too. He knows
when it
that. We're
comes to
just
the
speaking
work,
on professionalism. That's all it is.
yes. And these things that I'm hearing, I mean, if you're doing, we can see, and that's what I said earlier when you made your comment, Banky. I said, we can see the efforts made in that ministry because you're also Minister of Culture. And we can see the efforts there, and I'm lauding the efforts. I have no problem with those things personally. Whoever want to, because if you're showing
Yes.
that you're the Minister of Culture and you're engaged in certain cultural activities to maintain the culture and all that, all right, I have no problem with that. When it comes to the ministry, your role now in agriculture, this is where me and you have some issues. And I don't care if you're upset. I will continue to speak out on this thing. And if tomorrow, Banky, you got there as the Minister of Agriculture and we have these same issues, as much as me and you,
Of course.
Banky, I pressure you the same way. I'm telling you.
Well,
So me and you will be
it's
on the show, and we're going to be
accountability.
giving you the same kind of pressure that I'm giving
Well,
that
that's what it's
minister.
supposed to
And
be.
if it's somebody else, it's the same thing. So
Yes,
this is
I.
just how it is. And it's sad. Really, really sad to be hearing, these things, and to especially Banky, knowing what our situation is on the ground, where we are importing almost everything.
But what's the odds when we hear talking about the import of food security and food sovereignty and stuff like that, and all of a sudden now, because we can see way ahead, So you see everything play out now. Everybody now getting frightened and talk about, boy, I think we need to get agriculture serious now. Well, we say this all the time. So they're blind. People only go see in front the nose. They can't see behind the mountain. They know behind the mountain. That's the problem.
Well,
So all of a sudden now,
that's one of it,
yes,
That's one of it. But
yes,
the point that you just made, in terms of like if they can't see, it's a kind of reality, you know, and I've realized this as I speak to even international agencies and so on, because right now one of the things that I am doing is seeking to steal up some projects that I would love to bring back to the Caribbean, right? But one of the things that I realized, you see, like you're talking about how you have the layout of the farm, the 60 acres in your head, and you
Yes.
know what it looks like, you know what it would look like, and you know you could bring it to fruition. Now, this
You
is the
don't
thing.
know.
For a lot of people,
You don't know.
no,
Easy thing.
for a lot of people, right? Even if you were supposed to present the plans to them, right?
Yes.
They still may not be able to do it and envisage it
Can't do it.
because
Yes.
exactly. So some
Yes,
things
of course.
have
I
to
know
be
that.
done practically. Like they have to see it in order to believe it. And that's one of the tricky things that
Watch
I
that.
find right now too, in dealing with like in international agencies to get funding and so on. Sometimes you present the project, but they can't see your vision. And because of their
Yes.
limited scope, they sometimes can't see how you would get it done. So you know
Yes.
have to be the one to get it done. Like you're saying, like you said about the Indian castle, because all of these PhDs and all of these people would look at what you're saying and say, but this can't happen. And so they would tell themselves, okay,
Yes.
I cannot invest in this because I don't see the viability. But you see and you
Yes.
know, and then you have to know in
Of
order for
course.
you to get that level of confidence and trust from them, you have to do it. So one of the things I am seeking to do using St. Kitts and Nevis, and that's one of the reasons why I use St. Kitts and Nevis, because I show them that, okay, it's a small territory, so we can create demo models where we can get them to see the project on a smaller scale and at least get to see it, where it's not as expensive as if you're going to get into it on a bigger scale. But at least a smaller investment to at least demonstrate that it can be done. And then if you need to scale up and replicate, you do that. But
yes, we cannot move forward when it comes to agriculture and don't have a control program when it comes to the monkeys. You see what I mean?
and,
I would have a serious
and that
monkey
was
issue if
something
I leave my farm, but I stay on my
that
farm
was
every
something
day
that I
until,
found was crazy, Banky, when we had the
yes,
discussion during, I think when we had Gator on the program, and he was talking about the fact that they chose to close down an aspect of the program and to focus on culture, Rama, and so on. That was just like
yes.
almost madness to me. You have a case
That kind
where
of stress about
the monkey,
agriculture
the monkey population, they claim, is nearly even higher than the
increasing.
human population on the island and increasing steadily. There's no
Yes,
reason, no plausible reason for you to try to stop that program and to say that you're taking the money to invest in something. And this is the crazy part again, Bank. And this is why our people really need to be holding our elected officials accountable. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter who is holding the position. Listen to that, Banky. You're telling me, because based on information from the premier and so on, from some response, and even the minister himself, they would have said
yes,
that everybody know that Culturama is something that they don't profit from. It's a loss.
yes,
They do it, they
yes,
do it just as something for the people. Okay, which is fair enough. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, you know. But here's what you're saying. You have taken money from an area that is so critical. It is the dependence of the survival of the people who you want to create this cultural event for. Because if they can't eat, if monkey eating
yeah,
off all the
son, ignore the
food, and they
noise.
ain't getting enough food,
Ignore the noise. Ignore the noise,
how
be
could
virgin.
you?
Ignore the noise, yeah. You make noise, only noise I make. You making noise. The take on banky and your son, they just talking at the two customers on your talk. They don't know them I say. You understand? They take them on.
But
But now I
these
realize
things,
all the
these
topic
things.
now is about agriculture now. The people wising up now. Virgin, the next election coming up got to be about agriculture. If nobody can talk about agriculture, I don't care who you be. If you cannot speak on agriculture, because nothing else should be more interested in agriculture. Nothing else because with agriculture, everything ties within agriculture. Infrastructure, healthcare, everything ties within agriculture. So who these people fooling? So they don't eat. They don't put on clothes. Well, in agriculture, they don't put on shoes. They don't let them in a bed.
But
Not drive
Banky,
car.
part
It's
part
agriculture.
of it is because, but Banky, part of it is because, as I tell you, and this is why I say, me and you, our views when it comes to food security is going to be totally different to some of these people, because to some extent, some of these things that you're talking about, they don't even see the connection between these things. Because also, remember
But they can't lead us then.
one,
So how them a lead
no, but
us?
hold on, Banky, one, right, one, we are not growing enough. So they import most of the food. So most of the food that they have been eating ever since they know themselves is imported food. Most
Yes,
of the population of the people right now, like say between 80,
of course.
from birth now, from 30,
Yes,
40, 30, yes, 30, right? Then
yes,
in terms of manufacturing, because we're not manufacturing anything, we don't have the industries that take the raw material to create the value-added
yes,
products, so that people can really see that by, okay, these shoes that Banky got and make out of hemp, and the hemp was grown out there and the field out there. The
of
hat
course.
that Banky got and make out of cotton, and we go the cotton over there, so,
Exactly.
right? We ain't got no serious, like, I mean, tomato ketchup industry, you know what I mean, making these value-added products. These are things that people buy on the supermarket shelves. So in terms of even sometimes making the connection with agriculture, sometimes people don't see that connection. They don't really see that, why, this is an
Yes.
agricultural product. I mean, the shot that they have on is
Everything.
agriculture. You know what I mean? As you said, the bed, you're sleeping on at night and make out of, maybe if you make out of wood, even if you make out of steel,
Of course.
because the steel comes from the
Of
elements out of
course.
the ground anyway still. You know what I mean?
Of
So,
course.
but making
Yes.
that connection, it is not there. And
Yes.
so when
Yes.
how we look at food security is not necessarily how they may see it. And so that is why it might be a problem for us. And they will say, yeah, we could talk as much as we want, as you put it, right? Because at the end of the day,
Yes.
like I said earlier on in the conversation, as long as the boat come in every week, they don't have a food security problem, because
Yeah, but
the shelves will be filled and they could get their food.
things will change, and things are always changing. And I realize, listening to some radio show today, and you hear the people in panicking and talking about the seriousness about agriculture and all this different stuff, and how ridiculous the monkey issue is, even the backyard gardening and stuff like that. Monkey eating your stuff because from your leave. Monkey there, what monkey don't want to do? Monkey there in the tree are easy and just a cool and wait till they move, and just come out. You see, that is it. I don't have this issue because I'm a permanent farmer. I do a farm, so me not gone away. Me not leave my farm. When
But
I go to
Banky,
before 7 o'clock
again,
in the morning, me not leave. But others can't do like me. That's the difference.
you made a critical point there, which I think um, we we should really make some serious efforts to incentivize those backyard farmers and those backyard gardeners, because traditionally,
Yes.
one, Nevis has the small plots of land. They don't have any real large scale farmers who maybe planting 50 and 60 and 70 acres and so. Most of the plots are whether 5, 10 acres max average, right? Um,
Yes.
so that's one. Two, there is the call and the cry from even the politicians as well that there's not much lands, agricultural lands available. So they're even thinking of taking from some who already have and so on. So that is one issue. Even though I say that this is one of the things that they should consider, acquiring some land, because they acquire lands for other projects. Acquire some land so we could have lands available on 100 acres or 200 acres or 300 acres that we could have all that. This for agriculture and future agriculture development. No,
But nothing is earmarked for
so
agriculture. That's the whole point. The land is earmarked for agriculture.
no. So I'm saying, if it's not earmark, what I'm saying, they're saying that there's no land. What I'm saying is, if they want to, let's say for example, look at how they're going to what you call it, renovate the airport, as they claim, right? In order to do that, they had to acquire some lands. Like, if you own the land, they come and take it from you and pay you a certain amount of money for it, which is what they could do. All I am saying is, even some of the lands over on the south side, where they say over the Rocky and so, just like how you say, people were saying nothing could go to Indian Castle. Even some of them lands over there,
Yes.
things could go over there. So you could acquire 100 acres that you put aside and say, this is for the expansion of agriculture, because this is such a vital thing. I mean, listen to Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. The man said
Yes.
that agriculture and food sovereignty is more important than the military. That is how serious, and this is a military man talking. So he's showing you how serious this thing is. So what I'm saying, if you and from the government side are so serious about this 20 by 25 or 20 by 30, 2030 agenda, and you know that you have a limitation where land is concerned, well, I don't think the people of Nevis, if the government is supposed to come to tell them, look, this is the problem that we have here, and we want to acquire this 100 acres of land in order to 200 acres of land in order to make sure that we have food in order to feed ourselves and your children and your children. I don't think the people of Nevis will complain about that. So, but what we are saying is, because they're not serious about agriculture, this is not something that they would even be thinking about. Now, the point I was making, though, was when I started with the lands and so on, I was talking about seeking to empower the backyard gardeners, because since we don't have large-scale farmers like that, one of the ways we can help to boost our production is if we could find ways to incentivize the local backyard gardeners to get into, whether it's a little half acre or the rest of the land that they have outside of the yard and so on, get into some backyard gardening and contribute. I must say, the agro-processing side of it, they have, maybe they need to do a little bit more advertising where this is concerned and put out some promos and so on, so that the local gardeners can know they could bring their fruits in and other things and so on. These are incentives, and I have to commend them when they do these things. So that's what I'm saying, Banky. I'm not here to just critique. When they do good things, we promote the good things as well. So that is a very good one. But I'm saying now, promote it some more. So you could use it as a way to incentivize the local farmers and the backyard gardeners. Also, okay, if you have X or Y, since you're a backyard gardener, we are going to allow you to just bring it into marketing, and we're going to give you a fixed price for it. So that a person now will buy, I only got this little space and I could go out, even if it's just 20 pound okra every 2 days, I could carry it into marketing and get it off of my hand. Okay. You know, just to incentivize them so that you can now say, buy, I need to improve. Now I go in 20 pounds, man, next month I want to get 40 pounds. Next month, you know, and that would be as a stimulus to encourage the backyard garden and improve our food sovereignty overall. And so these are things that I am hopeful that we could see some of these. So when you brought that point up about the backyard gardeners, that thought came to me. I just decided to share it.
Yes, and at the same time, you need to train more people into greenhouse technology, hydroponic systems, because these are high intense farming. You can have a greenhouse 25 by 45, 50 feet and produce a lot more food than a man who have a quarter acre, half acre, because of the technology and the longer harvesting and the control of pests and stuff, depending on the management system. You see what I mean? The type of crop you put inside there, because you can have a hydroponic system and in a greenhouse 100 feet by 20 feet, 30 feet, and you can have over 10,000 lettuce in that greenhouse right there. Easy as that, 5,000 lettuce. You understand? Harvesting weekly. So, but we are not getting any help from the government here. That is the problem. We're not getting it. There are not one farmer who get any assistance with this 2025 agenda up to now. Not one assistant to get from, and we had the director here earlier, where we speak about the agriculture opening coming up, and he was speaking about these things. Not no kind of assistance. Sinkits, you have Sinkits giving her all these stuff, wires, water tanks, all kind of stuff. You see what I mean? Greenhouse areas and all the different stuff, greenhouse villages. Something is wrong in Nevis. Definitely we are not serious about when it comes to agriculture, brethren. But I'm glad to see now the people are finally waking up. I wonder if Trump got them frightened or Trump got them go on so. Because we know these things gonna happen, brethren. We know these things gonna happen, but it shows you how short-sighted people are. And these are people who are supposed to be so educated and don't understand you got to always have food sovereignty and always have food reserve. So if you're not thinking about food reserve, What do you think? If the government, if they don't shut down the wall already and got you all locked up in our house and can't come out, what you all think? It not gonna happen again? We too forgetful. You see, we too forgetful. That is the problem. So now on the radio station, I talked to today, Big Les was on Sam Kanda. And you know, Sam Kanda keeps saying, agriculture is our salvation. You know, agriculture is our salvation. Ain't nothing more important than agriculture, brethren. And then I take me and you serious, yes, son. Because then I reach to a point, don't come and hand me off me from and tell me, oh, we need you to be, as we call it, as a national security, we need your expert. Then I work, you know. Then I work, so that then I come go disturb me and think they need my help. But me know that. They're going to figure it out. Because we trying to show them these things and they play too much of politics. That's the problem with our people here.
We might not have to go through that. You know, because especially based on this comment here, and the next Deputy Premier of Nevis is Honorable Banky. I support you. Go for it. Support the Honorable Banky. So when Banky gets in and be the next Deputy Premier and Minister of Agriculture, we know that would not be an issue. Ball B. Jones says, let me ask a question. Does Monkey come out at night? Before you answer that,
no.
He has okay, you don't answer it. You say no, they don't come out at night. So Ball no. His other comment, that's why the government can take lands from the people on the south side for development. For agriculture, eminent domain is for development. Just like how they take the lands for the airport expansion, just take it, but buy it out or whatever. However, they do it, relocate the people. And so this is another person agreeing with what I'm saying in relation to, you know, taking some lands and allocate it for agriculture. I mean, just like how you could do it for the airport and sometimes for other projects and so on.
Of course.
This is such a serious crisis. I mean, it's just the other day we had a person saying that they were trying to get lands and the government keep telling them that they can't get no lands and no lands available and so on. Now, if we're really serious about expanding agriculture, we have to make sure that lands are available for this kind of expansion.
Land always there.
No, but then again, Banky, we just hear the Premier also saying the other day that Nevis wants another 10,000 people. So then if we're going to get another 10,000 people, what are we going to feed them? We're going to get land. So I can't understand how these guys,
and then the water,
with all these
the water supply,
have all of these wonderful ideas, but seem like agriculture is not on their thought process. So how these people going to eat?
So what about the electricity and how we affect the grid, the infrastructure? What about the water?
Well, remember they said again geothermal and the building 9 wells, the digging 9
Who getting geothermal? Who getting geothermal? Who?
The Federation.
The federal government?
The Federation.
So Nevis
yes.
So Nevis give out geothermal?
I don't know. What I'm hearing, that's why I said the Federation. I am hearing
no. Is geothermal belongs to Nevis?
Hold on.
Yes.
Supposed to. But I'm hearing more about geothermal from the federal government than I'm hearing from the Nevis Island government. So that's why I said it belongs to the Federation, and that's the story that I've been hearing.
I hear Dr. Just say geothermal is a federal asset, and Nevis will get a percentage. You see? So I mean the Premier and the Cabinet give away geothermal or hand it over to St. Kitts. You see? We're not serious, brethren.
Well,
these people cannot go on. We need a total change when it comes to all these political parties, because all them are the same thing. No waste of time. Waste of time. And the people them who keep holding on upon these party politics and talk, oh, this is how we stand and this is madness. Nobody owe you nothing to support a party ever, over and over and over.
I think there's it might be slow, but I think there is a mindset change. I think a lot more people are seeing things differently, and a lot more people are becoming a bit more conscious of certain things. And Nevis, though, I think a lot more of it needs to be done, especially to engage younger populace. I think, the people who are between 18 and say 35 need to get more involved in issues that are happening and learning more about government and governance and the system of government and how it works and these kind of things, so that they could have more input. I don't think we could continue where, we have people just wait till a one election and say, oh yeah, I support in blue or red or green or orange and these kind of things. I think it is time for the young people, and maybe too, we need to provide some such platforms where we could start to encourage them to begin to discuss issues and debate issues and so on. Like, maybe now is a good time to talk about it because they're having the Leeward Island debating competition. I think it is this week or this weekend it should be taking place. One of the things, and I think I would have said this, yes, I think I would have, and so while I'm saying that, and as I remember, I want to congratulate the team, the Nevis team, going out to participate. Also, St. Kitts, we are one federation, but at this time we compete against each other. So St. Kitts and Nevis, we're giving you all the full support. But however, I am originally in Vision, so yes, my support is full in Vision. I'll just keep it that way, and it's a reality.
Yes.
But
the better team win.
Speaking about debates, Banky, I think that we need to stop just waiting until this major debating event and to find ways to create debates amongst the people with various topics, like whether it could be the possibility of becoming a republic, because the prime minister would have spoken about that at some time, and we have heard nothing about that again. But these are topics that I'm thinking that the public need to have discourse on and so on. And some of these things, when you have young people debating, it also helps to encourage like conflict resolution and them being able to deal with issues where you could, have your debates and you have your strong points or strong arguments without turning to violence or getting angry and so on. And these kind of skills, I think, is necessary to help develop our people so that we could help stem our violence and crime and so on, and bullying and so on that's taking place in the schools as well. And that's another issue as well, where I'm seeing a lot of fights and so on. People know we have cameras and so on, and people are videoing everything and putting it up on social media and so on and laughing about it and so on. These are things that we really need to stem, not post these things to laugh at these things, but really seek to address these things so that we could have better society. So the debating, I am really much for us debating a lot more. I think, as I said, conflict resolution is critical. It will help with, the rage and so on and the violence. As I talk about violence, I'm hearing the refrain from some of the politicians in the federation and so on, praising that, we are a couple months violence-free, no gun-related shootings and so on and things like that. I'm really happy for that. Of course. At the same time. So, but we have to continuously do these things that is not reactive but proactive. And this is what I'm thinking. Like, things like this are proactive measures that we can take to help our young people to learn to deal with conflict resolution and so that they could know how to deal with issues. I might have a different point than you. It doesn't mean that you're wrong, and maybe when we do the whole thing, both of us may be right, but we might just be looking at it from a different angle, So things like these, we really need to help to encourage our young future generation. And before I let you get back in, Banky, I'll just read out the last 4 comments that came in. Damien Jeffrey says, them greenhouse good for over the southeast. And yes, and even those areas that might not be good, rocky and so on, you can use greenhouse and shade house technology and so on. So yes, very good comment, Damien Jeffrey. Bobby Jones said that's why every time they call on you, make them pay you for your services. I guess that was in reference to your Banky. So people must not let those
Yes.
lands on the south side of Nevis go to foreigners. These guys are jokers. Okay, so yes, no Banky, you can continue. Those are the last set of comments that we had on the wall.
Cannabis, your son. What was in New York, in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, your son, people on the sidewalk, 20 people everywhere you go, just there with that little table selling cannabis. You don't know what fake, don't know real. You understand? And everything happening, a lot of fighting all the time. And then across the street, as you see, I mean, you talk, my brother, Dondo, you understand? You interview him, and you tell how the situation is. You understand? What's selling is tobacco, because ganja is legal. Police then decide this, they're chill and whatever, man. There's a pass and a puff. Police don't now watch you. If you got a open container alcohol, you get a ticket. You see what I mean? But cannabis is nothing. But the people who own all this cannabis shop and the people who live in those areas, you see what I mean? So the people who own all these liquor stores is the people who live in those areas. We are the consumers. Everybody coming in our neighborhood and using us because we don't think to be the producer. We just consume. That is the problem. What I see for what's going to happen, is an opioid is an epidemic, because it's the highest 38, 40% THC and nonsense. It's a serious thing going to be happening. Yes.
One of the things that I forgot to really ask him when he was on the interview was if in New York recreational cannabis is legal. Because one of the reasons why I'm asking specifically is because in relation to St. Kitts and Nevis, the push is for medicinal cannabis. And
no, recreational is legal.
The rules and regulations for recreational would and may be different from that which are for medicinal. And so maybe we have to be checking ourselves in accordance to what could be allowed under the medicinal versus what may be when they do seek to address the recreational side. And so for St. Kitts and Nevis, most of the debates and discussions so far have been in relation to the medicinal side of cannabis, so to speak. There has been no major discussions in relation to recreational and or religious or spiritual side of it, except for the clearance that was given to I can't just say Rastafari community, but they would have made some reservations for religious use, but nothing else in relation. So that is another scope, and that's why I said when you started talking about what you're seeing on the street, I was curious as to know if recreational is also legitimate. It would be good to find out,
of course,
the rules of the recreational, so we could compare, I guess, when it's time for what we are going to do in the local space here on St. Kitts and Nevis. I must say I would have seen some article presented that something is happening in terms of the cannabis space. I don't know exactly what I saw, but it's something to do with the cannabis. I think it's the cannabis office to be opened up sometime soon or something. Okay, let me see it here. Office of the official launch of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority. And this should take place on the 21st of April. So first day after 420. Interesting. So there's 420, and then on the 21st, you will have the official launch of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority. Location at Princess Street, and this should take place at 9:30 a.m. So that's the latest news, and I must give thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture, who have been doing a lot of work in terms of their PRO, their public relations. They do put out a lot of posts on a regular basis. I'm seeing some improvement on the Nevis end as well. I must commend them as well, the team, for
You
putting
see
out
some,
a
you
lot
see
more
somewhat,
productions.
you see somewhat
No,
on
I'm
Nevis
seeing
end.
improvement in terms of the PRO, public relations, in terms of the agriculture ministry putting out more videos and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So I
Yeah,
must
man, I gotta big up,
right.
gotta big up the young lady Shaki for doing, you know what I
Yes,
mean, and
must
stuff
give
like that.
respect to the team.
Definitely the young lady.
Yes,
Yes. Well, they're
and
listening,
so
you know.
like I said, Banky, and this is me, right? I mean, I'll critique
They're
what I need to
listening.
critique, and if you're doing good, I'm going to give you the credit that
Yes,
you deserve. So,
of
as I
course.
said, it is nothing
Yes.
personal, because all we are doing this for is for the betterment of the agricultural industry, and that our people are in a better position. I have children, I have sisters, I have brothers, I have, my mom, and everybody back here in Neve, Singis and Neve. So even though one might say, bah, you can say what you want because you ain't home over there. But I have my family over there. So if they are not able to eat and get food on a regular basis and so on, it affects me still, you know?
Of
So
course.
that is what this is all about. It's nothing personal. It is just wanting better from our people who are at the helm, and even also for the average local farmers as well, because that's what we do. We seek to help and share
Yes.
information if and when necessary. Anything that is happening in the industry, we seek to bring it out there and bring the information to the masses. And we do the same with cannabis. We're talking about cannabis now. We are the only platform that I know of in St. Kitts and Nevis that have a show that is specific to cannabis. We have been doing it for about almost the same 5 years, where we have a show the
Yes.
last Tuesday in the month. We cater to the issue of cannabis. And so, I mean, we continue to do that. And even though tonight is not one such night, we still bring it on the
Yes.
agenda.
Of
And so
course.
we want people to realize that this is something that we're passionate about, and it's a part of agriculture. No, so even
Yes.
if before, when we used to talk about it
So
and they
how
didn't put it under the,
so
go ahead.
finish up a point. So
So I
how
was
this
saying, even
work?
before,
Because go
no,
ahead,
you
Jason.
guys, we got it. You guys, go
Okay.
ahead.
So how this cannabis thing work? Because the minister in Nevis aim for cannabis. Kind of the last time when I took part in the agriculture open day with my educational part with the cannabis thing, the minister stepped by the gate and say, "Hey, like a kite," and run go long. You understand? Run go long. You understand? And give the farmer PS hells. So that's why I'm not taking part in it. But the director and everybody, people calling me, telling me, boy, I have people coming from Stacia and from St. Martin and Sabre just for the cannabis thing. Me say, well, tell them talk to the minister. You understand? Because I won't be taking part in it. So is what the people want. The people, it was the best boat there is, most talk about. You understand? Nobody get hurt. But how you want to push cannabis, you want people to have, but they can't buy a tree. You understand? The police them booze around, me never booze around for. I have to tell them I come in the place. Where I booze around for? Come in the place and walk around. So the squad them come in and walk around and ask them something. You understand? The inspectors and them have no
No,
issue with it.
but
It's an
that is
educational
part of
thing.
why I guess in Nevis there is seemingly no forward movement where cannabis is concerned, because then if you have that kind of reaction from who's at the helm, and up to this point we have never heard any discussion, any formal discussion from neither the minister or any other official in relation to cannabis,
Yes.
other than from time
Yes.
to time, whenever the issue may arise, or they might, like back when they had things in the house and so on, we would have heard the premier
Yes.
would speak out and say, well, okay, he is of the view that they should free it up and all of these things and so on. This is why sometimes I tell you that it seems as if it's just this 9-day thing where, you come and you
Yes.
say something nice and it sounds good and so on, then People forget about that 9 days after because nobody come back to say, well, okay, but you're talking about freeing up this thing here. You're at the helm, it's you the premier, the box stops with you. If you really want this to happen, you can mandate that this minister do X, Y, or Z, and if the minister don't do it, you can shift the minister or do whatever it is. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes when we hear these ministers talk and give these fancy speeches and so on, and they want to, make it look like, oh, ain't they far, when the reality is, as the buck stops with you, King, you are the chief minister, the chief of all ministers.
Well, there are people from other growers from Sink has been calling me and want to know if I will be taking part in the Agriculture Open. They tell them no, I won't because the minister fight Herb. So if they want to take part, well, I refer them to the director. I don't know if any of them will get the courage and can come over and all these things. So I really don't know, but I for sure wouldn't be dealing with nothing with that minister because it's a shame that the federal government pushing cannabis, but on Nevis, we're playing sanctified and holy, 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 and we're not holy. You understand? We're sure not holy. You understand? We are hypocrites. That's the whole point. We are hypocrites because at the end of the day, these same ministers is a part of the federal cabinet same way too. So I don't understand these things. That's the funny thing about it. The same ministers them is a part of the same federal cabinet, Same federal cabinet. They might not have any portfolio. You see what I mean? But they are part of the federal cabinet. They collect the money. But at the same time, they don't want to talk about cannabis. They don't want to talk about nothing. They're fighting against the people because of their own belief system. And these are the sad thing about when we're living in a society where it's not about your personal, it's nothing about me, If the people them want something, you have to educate them.
Last year,
yes.
When you took part in the Agri Expo, the booth that you presented, your booth would have done, and maybe that is why it was so much appreciated, your booth would have done what the ministry and the government need to do more regularly to help to educate and sensitize the public because of all of these years of these lies that they would have sold to the masses, or how cannabis is so terrible and so bad and all that. Here is it that now you're in a position where you have to now backtrack these lies, but you're not doing any effort to even prove or to show the people about really and truly we're sorry that we lied to you all for so long, and you know what I mean. So you made an effort to seek to educate the masses, and this is what is absolutely necessary. So to see that was not, you know what I mean, even nothing like that has been done on Navy since. That's one. Well, other than you, I think, made a presentation at your place. Nothing like that from those at the head. But yet we have the opportunity, and we're talking about improving and dealing with our food security and food sovereignty. Now, a lot of people might argue, and this is because a lot of people only see cannabis from the smoking side of it. Cannabis is one of the highest paid cash crops. So the next one in Nevis might be strawberries. I think strawberries are $20-something a pound, but strawberries still can't even compare anywhere close to what an average pound of cannabis is like. So you have that, where you have the opportunity to invest and get whoever the farmers are, know that they will be getting a higher pay for the crop that they're cultivating, whether they're going to process it or not process it. Because the thing is, the price does not necessarily depend on the processing. The processing would give you products that may add value and would have higher value.
Yes.
That also now puts the industry in another position where even with regular agricultural products, where you can get into the agro-processing side, you have that opportunity as well with cannabis. So I don't see why, if we're serious about one, food security and food sovereignty, because also cannabis can be used in food. Hemp seeds is sold in the stores. Cannabis is used in a lot of culinary dishes, the drinks, the juices, and all these different things that can be made from it, smoothies and all of these things. So there's the edible side of it. I can't see why a cash-strapped country that is seeking to, instead of diversify the economy, using this opportunity to, instead of selling out the same lands, because CBI, part of the CBI is selling out the lands. And so instead of having to do that to generate money, here you can invest in your people and have them invest in an industry that can then help to put them in a position where they become entrepreneurs, have their own business, agripreneurs, because it's agriculture they're dealing with, become serious agripreneurs, and we become a territory that is, to some extent, not even so much dependent now on these social efforts that the government have to put themselves in, because these people now, many more now become gainfully employed. They don't have to be on whether the pop party, pep party, step party, whatever it is. They may have their own business. They're now trained to develop their own product, because now they're not just growing it. Somebody now might be making a soap. Somebody now might be making oil. Somebody now might be making shatter. Somebody now might be making shoes. Somebody, you know what I mean? So there's so many different areas that they may be getting to that people are not even paying attention to, because that's one of the things, as we discussed cannabis in St. Kitts and Nevis, most of the people, and that's one of the reasons to Banky, why what you did at the expo was good, and why they need to do a lot more of these things to help to change that mindset where people just, whenever they hear about cannabis, just think about smoking. So as one of my motto that I've been using for many years, think about the smoke. And so these things would be doing, when we engage in these things, when the minister and the Ministry of Agriculture engage more in sensitizing and educating people about cannabis, then they will be able to see all of these different uses that we talk about and how they could benefit, even if they're not using it. Because all of these things that we're talking about here, Banky, people can get involved in these things without actually,
of course,
using cannabis, you know? So, you know, it's just like how you have people who go, who may sell tobacco or sell cigarettes or sell rum, but do not drink.
They don't use it.
Do not smoke it.
Exactly.
It's the same way. It's just a product. So, I mean,
that's the whole point.
You know, we just really, but a lot more needs to be done in terms of sensitizing the public. And so what you did, Banky, last year, I'm hopeful that if not you, because you say it's not going to be you, but somebody else could get that opportunity to do something similar. And also that the ministry seek to make it their business to really do the re-education that is necessary to get people to see that agriculture is, that cannabis is a viable option. There's a question here in the chat, Banky. Somebody asked, so how much for a pound of cannabis? It varies basically depending on the grades, but I don't know the average right now on St. Kitts, because I've not been there for along the St. Kitts and Nevis. I've not been there for a couple of years. So Banky, I think you might be in a better position to give at least an average. You don't have to give the but at least the average give and take. You have higher grades, and you have the little.
Well, it's a 550 average, 550 ounce. So they could, and you understand, it's 16 ounces in a pound. So they could work out the maths. You see what I mean? So you understand?
550 easy.
Yeah, but there's some people who sell it for like 1100 an ounce, 1300 an ounce, 1600 an ounce. You understand? So I'm just working with the minimum.
So here is it that we have the potential for this type of revenue generation in an industry that has been decriminalized since 2019.
Yes.
In 2019, the government would have made some changes. So since 2019, we could have been capitalizing on this market in a huge way. But all now, we're still dragging our feet. See, we're in 2025, and we're just about to open the office.
But these things here, right? Nobody need to come. We need to keep this thing niche. You don't need to bring anybody from overseas to come on here to say they want to go to herb. Then it need to happen. Because you have to find land to give them, ain't it? You can't find land to give people to grow herb, to grow food. We won't find land to get them to grow herb. You understand? And if you're gonna grow herb, you must be able to grow some amount of food too. It should be balanced.
You see,
not just a grow herb and not grow no food. That's how you have to put things.
Banky, I'm hearing that,
Yes.
but I am being practical still because this is the reality. We don't need nobody here
Yes.
to go technically nothing. But no
Yes.
law stops them from coming either, right? And then
Yes.
they're gonna talk about the market of free trade and free all of this and so on, right? Which
Of
are things that the
course.
government would have
Because they don't
already
have the
signed
people.
on to, right? So
Yeah, but give me
the
scrap.
reality is they shouldn't have to, but then
Yes.
guess what?
We
Some
have
of
good growers
these
here.
some of these foreign investors who might be coming in might just be lying in the pockets of some of the politicians, for their campaign and so on,
Well,
and some of these
always follow
deals
the
that
money.
they make behind the table and
Always
so
follow
on. And so you may
always follow the
find that
money.
they may be well in favor of giving them the go ahead
Of
and give
course.
us the little
Just
fight,
follow the
because
money.
even if they're supposed to make a couple of millions, we're not going to be giving them no $1 million to campaign. So they're going to look at it that way. And so these are some of the realities that we sometimes have to deal with. We sometimes may say like, that shouldn't have to happen. A man shouldn't have to come in to do these things. But then what I find sometimes, and you may have some great ideas, Banky, and you're from St. Kitts and Nevis, and you would be seeking to introduce your officials and so on to these possibilities. And they would turn a blind eye on you. And the sad thing is, they will call it rent a guy. You get a guy with a briefcase and a suit and tie, and same idea. You give him the exact same plan. Just because maybe
Yes.
he's from overseas or he might be of a different hue, and they get you. I mean, it's sad, but it's a sad reality that sometimes we are faced with. And
But
so,
that's a perfect example.
and then we look at sometimes the failures that we have in certain areas, and then you look and you say, boy, but I offered some solutions or some possibilities here, but I was ignored. Nobody really studied me. But then you hear them cry that, why this ain't happening, and we need people to come back and invest, and we need our people to this, and we need. So, I mean, these are some of the things, these are some of the realities that we have to deal with. The reality is sometimes, because of the fact that that you're not just thinking of St. Kitts and Nevis, and you're a professional, and you're thinking of also other opportunities. You also have to be professional in what you're doing, and so you just do what you have to do anyway. But the sad thing is, man, sometimes it's sad having to deal with your own people. And then you look at
But yes, man.
sometimes the kind of concessions and so on that's given to other people and so on. And you're like, you seek into your small business and St. Kitts and Nevis, and you can't even get quarter the concessions that is given to attract an outside investor to come in. So these are some of the things that I look at, and I just observe and hope
What
that
is
sometimes we could have better people.
what is surprising to me is that the Hamilton estate is been taken over by some expats. Why not the tourism department? That is very strange to me. Well, who give them that? Why the tourism department?
If they don't have an arrangement, if they don't have an arrangement with the tourism authority or the tourism department, do you know?
Well, how can nobody talk about it? Well, how can the premier don't address it? How
So,
can nobody talk
and,
about it? It is like a secret.
and everything that you may talk about, and then that's something that, maybe if you talk about it, if so, that it might raise some eyebrows like you might be raising. So that might not be one of the things that they would want to, put up on the agenda. They would hope that
But
slides by without maybe. So I
but
don't know.
why
I'm
give?
just asking. That's what I said. I'm asking if you know
If
that there's not
yeah,
an arrangement with them, because, for example, the
what?
property belongs to the government. So if somebody is
Yes.
utilizing it, they can't just get up and take it up and use it. So there
Well,
must
that's the whole
be
point.
some kind of agreement. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's some kind
Of
of agreement
course.
or arrangement.
But
But
why would you give
your point is
our
what you're
natural
making is that
treasure?
somebody local should have been able to manage that and deal with that operation.
Well, that's the
Which I
whole
totally
point.
agree with you. So
Are the tourism department? We can look how just how the tourism department do the one over at New River. So why you don't give away the one at Hamilton? I don't understand these things. Something is wrong with us. So we're giving the sugar estate, we're give a geothermal, or what else we're give? So the only thing we wait upon now, they fix the road, What should they fix the road to accommodate these people? Because we love outsiders. You see? something is wrong with us. We are not true to ourselves. And that is where you see we cannot have these people continuing governing us. We're giving our natural resources, brethren. Up there enough, so you're gonna put a cafe up there in a gift shop, and then our people gonna. I mean, come on, what is that, brethren?
And
When I see
again,
people going
you,
around and
you know,
picking up paper and putting up signs, mark and keep navies clean, because where they come from, they not pick up no paper, you know. Where they come from, they not pick up no paper. When they come to our island, they want to pick up paper and put sign here and there. It's amazing. These people believe they're smart, believe they're smarter than everybody else. They not do these things where they come from.
however, they in most cases are able to smart out our elected officials, and
Follow the
especially
money.
when you have officials crying out saying that we had all these investors, but every time they come, they just run away. You know what I mean? They ain't staying. I care how much I offer, I care how much I. So if you're in that point, if you're at that position where that is what you're doing, then people who are out there listening to this, they will know, man. I could just give this man a little talk around the corner there, and you know what I mean, and get in whatever as I get in and so on. Because as I said, we don't know what arrangements are made with these people when they make these deals. We don't know what the beneficiary is for X or Y, or how the party or individuals within the party may benefit from, you know what I mean, whatever other parts of the agreements that you and I don't know about. And then most of the times too, it's only when somebody does some investigative journalism that they get to find out what are the conditions under which some of these projects were signed. So these are things
I'd like to know how the listening audience and viewers feel about the Hamilton estate being given away to some expats and stuff like that with the vanilla farm. Because these things don't make no sense, brethren. These things don't make no sense. We are the natives, you know. And whether you got a passport or not, you're not a native. That's how people are going to get it. You understand? You're not a native. Is native supposed to hold certain things? Whether you got passport or that, it mean nothing to me, because you're not a native. That is very important. So we got to protect our natural treasures. That's very key to me. You see what I mean? And if our leaders gonna continue giving away our stuff because they're benefiting off of money and whatever it is and don't care about the locals, they too gonna be looked down upon, you know. Because if you think these people gonna get any respect for you because they're getting some kickbacks, whether them are the liar or this or that or whatever it is, they're not gonna respect for your brethren. Because they're gonna look down upon you the same as the other natives. Because you're gonna give her your natural treasure. What is so hard? I mean, this is not no big project. You just need a little gift shop and you want to give away your stuff. This is sickening. Real sickening, brethren. Real sickening. You understand? We got to rise up and stop let our people bamboozle us and give our natural treasure. You understand? Making money off our natural treasure.
They're gonna say, yeah, it's your natural treasure, but now that you come with no plan, you all didn't bring a plan to us.
You need a plan. What plan you need?
I'm giving
the structure.
I'm giving you the excuses that they're gonna provide. They're gonna say you all are here and you all talk, but you didn't bring any plan. Nobody brought any plan to them to say we're gonna do this. But maybe those people did, you know. So that's what they're going to. That's the part of the argument that they're going to ignore the noise. You see, the place is there all the time. Nobody was doing anything. Now somebody is doing something. You know, they're gonna find something to say. That's the kind of argument that is going to be brought forward.
Always follow the money. That's one thing we learned from since long time.
I gave you the other side of the scenario, right? So there's that side. Then there's this side that is going to be given as an explanation. Because at the end of the day, we know these things and we see these things. It might not hold water to you and it might not hold water to me. But then at the end of the day, Banky, if at the end of the day, these things are done, me and you know or whatever, and then I am still re-elected by the masses, what does that say?
You can't fool all the people all the time in the Virgin. They're not going to work, you know. They're not going to work. It's too much of failures, pan failures, pan failures, pan failures. Okay.
And I'm still voted back in. And I'm still voted back in. So what is that saying? I keep
Yeah,
failing.
because we have this.
And then I come back to you,
Because
and
we have
I
this.
come back to you, and I keep begging you, and I'm still, and the same people who complaining, saying whatever, still put me back in there. Then what am I to
That's
say,
why the
man? Then it
people
got to
have
be
to
up doing
rise.
some great things.
That's why you need independent candidates throughout all the constituencies and get rid of all these political parties because they not have our interests. They do not have our interests, and it's too obvious to see. Okay, I remember this building when I was told the governor Antoine was building his house. Well, now we realize it's not the man house, it's the bank build a mansion for the man. I was shocked. You understand? And something will cost 7 million have to be 22 million, and that they far
Well,
from finished.
well,
Well,
it's not
but,
quite.
well this is like
It's not quite.
uh-huh.
Well, okay. Let me just make one slight correction in this statement that you made, right? So you said that
Yes.
it's not him, but the bank is building a house for him. Well, technically,
Well,
the bank is not
for the
necessarily building a
governor,
house for him, or whoever the
for
governor
the
will
governor.
be. So if it's him
Yes,
now,
yes,
so yes.
yes,
But technically, it is for whomever. But the funny
yes.
thing for me, Banky, as I try to look at the whole like scenario. I'm still kind of investigating and doing some little research, for myself. But from my understanding, right, the ECCB is
Yes, yes,
a bank.
hold, hold,
Uh-huh.
hold on there, have a call coming in.
Okay, no problem.
Carla, good evening.
Yeah, man. Good evening to you guys, man. How you guys doing, man?
We good. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. You can hear me clear, right?
Yeah, loud and
Yes,
clear.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, okay. You can hear me, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, good evening to you guys, man.
Yeah, man. Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, yo, man. This is a great discussions tonight, man. I hope the people are listening, man. I want to say something personal. The other day, I put a live chat in on one of the podcasts, and I'm gonna say exactly what I put on there. NRP needs to restructure. Somebody came behind that comment and they said, I'm always saying a lot, but I still ain't saying nothing. That person, I won't even call her name, but as a society, a small society like we are, we need to expand our minds. We got to be more open than how we are. We got to grow up and we got to become mature. A lot of talk is about Mark Brantley, but I'm going to say it to you straight up. The opposition in Nevis, they're not going to move Mark Brantley with the way they're moving. They got to change. They got to restructure. We've seen the Labour Party on the other side. They barely scraped through with their restructuring. And look at where they're at today in government. They had to restructure in order to be where they are today. And it's a message I'm sending straight to all the people who want to be in politics and who are going to be running. You're not going to move that guy named Mark Brantley by doing the same old things. And with that said, I move forward, man. The politicians of the day, they don't have no integrity. They're selling out the place, and they're not representing the people that put them there. Talking about the lands, and I know you guys are agriculture experts, and we got to become self-sufficient in food. We got to be able to feed our own mouths.
Yes, I.
We're watching we're watching all of the events happening around the world, and we're in a global economy, and If we think to ourselves that these people can't stop them boats from coming from Miami, we make a sad mistake. Like you said earlier, they already done shut us down during COVID.
Of course.
And believe it or not, they will do it again. America is not, we've seen the orange guy took office in America, and we see how much chaos this man already done caused already. Small islands of the Caribbean, they're not going to drop a bomb on us, but they're going to find ways to cripple our economy. They already got us boxed in by the battle of the visas. We need visas to travel into these people's countries. So without visas, we are stuck in our own little space. So with that, being stuck in your own little space, when you can't move, when you can't travel out, you can't twiggle and wiggle like them worms in the ground. And when they cut off the boats then from coming to Miami and you can't feed yourself, well, you guys are gonna just stay there and starve to death. Instead of being reactive, we gotta be proactive. 300 plus vehicles came into St. Kitts Nevis. And Banky, I was talking to a Jamaican brethren the other day. And when I tell this man about that, you know the man tell me? Boy, not even one push lawnmower came. So it showed me where the mindset of the people is. We've been talking about agriculture so much, but
Yes.
all of those persons who order those cars, not one of them said, boy, let me order one tractor and start a tractor rental business or something. I asked you the question one time, how much tractors Nevis got? You said one, and hopefully is in operation. What kind of SHIT is that, bro? One tractor for a whole island? So somebody could have put some capital money together and order some tractors and start a business. But the people, they're not thinking in that way at all. They're waiting for the government to do everything. The politicians got the people one way, and the people got the politicians another way. But one of the reasons why the politicians got the people like that, the people have got their hands out. They got their hands out all the time. Nobody wants to put in the work. The place is very corrupted. St. Kitts and Nevis is possibly the most corrupted place in the Western Hemisphere. You see what you were just about talking on about that mansion they built down there in St. Kitts?
Mm-hmm.
Me myself, when I thought about it, Banky, right? When I was home in the summertime, when I thought about it, right? When I was home in the summertime,
Yeah.
I possibly went past that mansion because I went up in that Beacon Heights. I was lucky to get a tour.
Yes.
And I mentioned this to you before. I got a tour,
Yes.
and undoubtedly I went up in that area. And I'm gonna tell you, if I could remember vividly, I seen a big structure like that.
Yes.
And I believe that's the same building I saw
Of course.
at that time.
Yes.
And to see that man put $22 million into that structure, bro, and they ain't thought about developing agriculture sector. And, you know, one other thing I want to mention, the Kim Collins Stadium is in shambles. It ain't got completed in 1 year. So now that meat is coming, that track and field meat is coming back over to Nevis again, it seems. So they ain't consider putting some money, investing some money back into the youths at least. You know what I mean? And we are talking about we love the kids and we love the people so much. But these people, they're fake, bro. These politicians, they're fake. They only care about lining up their own pockets. And me personally, bro, I'm disappointed in what I'm seeing going on in St. Kitts Nevis. I wish I could make a change. But I'm boxed in. Because you see that Brian clause, what they got in the Constitution? They are blocking persons in the diaspora who got a foreign passport from coming back and contributing to their own society. And you alluded to something like that just now. Those persons who are coming in with them, buying up them passports, they are not a native of the land. They were not born there.
Yes.
But to see that they got a blind clause in the Constitution and blocking persons who are naturally born citizens, that stuff is totally out of order, man. I don't care if they talk about you pledging allegiance to another country. You can't dare tell an American citizen, born citizen, an American-born citizen, you can't dare deprive them of the right to run for president in this country. The foreigners, them that came here and earned citizenship in this country in other means other than, like, through marriage or whatever, they can't run for the president, but they can participate in the political affairs here. I was born in Nevis. I got a U.S. passport. Guess what? I can run for politics in America right now if I want to. And it's a shame to see I can't come back and run for politics in my own country where I was born. And these are the type of things the people have got to start standing up to, man. St. Kitts and Nevis is a small place. And after we got control of those lands after slavery, it's a shame to see how we are giving these lands back to the rich foreign persons. The south side of Nevis, anyhow, Nevisians sit there and let them man get hold of those lands, and them lands go to the foreigners. Well, so be it. You guys will just sit down there and suck salt, because everyone in Nevis knows about the Tower Hill Estate and the top of Barnsgate, which was sold out, and Barnsgate people don't have no wiggle room up there to move left, right, like north, west, south, or east. Barnsgate people can't even move up there. They took away the basketball court from those people in Barnsgate, and up to now they can't give them back one. And if we sit there and watch Tower Hill got sold out like that and got fenced off, and the people in Barnsgate can't get no lands up there, if we watch that example and let that happen to us on the south side of Nevis, well, I'm sorry for you guys, man. And concerning the next elections coming up, I want to congratulate you for making the decision for maybe running for office like this you're going to do. And I just ask Jaja to bless the eye to go forward with that. And I'm encouraging all the persons, the independent-minded persons in St. Kitts and Nevis, to come forward and put their names on the ballots, because the party politics got St. Kitts and Nevis messed up. And that's my little contribution to you guys tonight, man. I wish the man them the best, and enjoy the rest of the night, man.
Yeah, give thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much for your contribution. Banky,
Yes,
a couple of things I would comment on what the caller mentioned. You know, and then I'll go back to the point I was about to make in relation to the Antoine and ECCB building issue. Two things that I kind of wanted to point out. He said that as a Nevisian with an American passport, he can't run for government on St. Kitts and Nevis. That is not quite true in this sense that you have the option of what they say denying that citizenship, so you can revoke your American passport and run for elections in your country. I think probably the rationale behind that, though, some might find it tough, but I guess it's like, if you're really so committed to being the leader and to manage your country, then show that that's a way, so to speak, of demonstrating that you're at that level of commitment. If later on you want to reapply or whatever, but you should be thinking of staying in your country and setting up your country. So I think that is the argument behind that. The other point, in relation to the Barnsgate basketball thing, but this would have been some long time ago, but I think they had set up a piece of land on the outskirts, like when you remember the new road that they cut the lead down into Cotton Ground. There was a road.
They have a play field.
Yeah, so
they have a ball field.
So wasn't the basketball court supposed to be relocated over there, or this is something totally different? That as I know they had the court, I know they had a basketball court up on the opposite to Mansa, where Mansa has his shop here in Barnsgate. There was a basketball court up there in Barnsgate, but I'm not sure if if they had moved that from there or what the situation was. But I know that they set up that piece of land over there. So that's just the two kind of little issues that I wanted to query in terms of what the caller mentioned. In relation now, back in relation to the ECCB building and structure. Now, my thing is, right, the ECCB is not a syndicate bank. It is an organized system. And the decision that would have been made to construct such a building would have been agreed to by, I think, all of the different leaders that make up the OECS, because all of those countries whose names are on the Eastern Caribbean dollar, each head of government actually would have signed on to that. So my thing is why this kind of outrage now? What is the real reason for the outrage? Is it that it was budgeted for 7 million and now the jump from 7 million to 22 million, or just the thought of having such a structure in the first place? I'm not certain what the debate is. However, I don't think that, I don't know what Governor Antoine's decision or how much clout or weight he has in this scenario, especially seeing the fact that he is only the governor now and the building is not just built for him, it is built for whoever the governor will be in the future. But the thing is, he's getting a kind of people are blaming him and giving him a bad rap and saying he should resign and all of these things. And then there's seemingly some people who are trying to blame the local politics or the local politicians for some of the issues. The reality is, the reality is, it is something that is of concern and should be of concern, but should not be pointed at the local politicians. I don't see how that argument really ties in. I might be wrong, but I think this is something that the OECS leaders, which include though the leader of St. Kitts and Nevis, who is a member of OECS. So if you want to say that, they would have been aware of it and so on, yes, they would have, and I guess they all are. How many of them would have signed on to it? And it is not something that is just like, okay, they just started. So I'm kind of curious as to why, this all of a sudden uproar about the issue. That's just my position. So I would do some more investigations myself to kind of better understand the scenario, and then I would share more of my views and opinion. But what I just shared is just from my personal understanding so far and how I am viewing such a scenario, because like in the OECS, the Eastern Caribbean, some of the things that they would have done, they would have started to share some of the various responsibilities and have certain things in different territories. So, like for example, the ECCB was structured in set up in St. Kitts and Nevis. I think the Aviation Authority went to Antigua. I think the court system, which I think is the Caribbean court, something I'm not sure if that went to St. Lucia. And, so each, what they did was sort of share the responsibility of OECS. So St. Kitts happens to have be the place that got the bank to be located, but the workers are from all over the region. You have people from all over the OECS who's a part of the ECCB community. So it is like I said, I'm not one who see where Governor Antoine should be given the kind of beating that he's getting. As I said, at least from my vantage point, I don't know how much clout he has as a governor and a say in that issue, where it is something that was done and signed on to by most, if not all, of the leaders in the region and all the other, associated members and so on. I am not certain of how much we should and could lay the blame at him personally. I stand to be corrected as I get more information. Also, in terms of the St. Kitts government, I am not seeing at this point how you could really want to tie or blame the St. Kitts government in a case like this, because something like this has nothing directly other than probably signing on whenever it was with the other leaders. The prime minister then, whoever it would have been, would have agreed to that. He would have been just one of the other many members of the OECS who would have decided it. So to blame, and then we don't even know if it was a position where it was a majority vote, or if it had to be a unanimous decision. Because who knows, maybe in the lineup, if it was not unanimous and it was majority, who knows, maybe St. Kitts and Nevis did not sign on to it, maybe they did not agree, but we don't know. And some of these things bring to light some of the things that I talk about in terms of accountability, in terms of holding our leaders accountable. Because when these decisions were to be made, these things should have been brought to the public to discuss. We should, when I say to the public, that is why we have our elected officials, and they should be coming to us to consult with us before they make certain major decisions, and should be reporting to us after making certain decisions. But because it seemingly has become the norm for us to not hold them accountable to do these things, when you now begin to start to hold the leaders accountable, give you the information that they should have been giving you and to reporting to you as they should have been, now you seem to be like the boogeyman. You seem like the bad one, and it creating problems. And that's why they say, oh, ignore the noise, because seemingly to them, you are creating problems when all you are doing is asking for them to do that which you hire them, are paying them, and they are elected to do. They put up their hands to be your servant. And then when you treat them like the king you are and asking your servant to report to you, your servant have a problem. Your servant want to make you look like you are the servant, you should respect the king. This is the kind of reverse psychology that is being used. And until we, the masses, get to that point where we recognize that we are the kings in this situation, and that we need to continuously agitate for consultants from these people, for them to consult with you, and for them to report to you, not only when they feel it's convenient or when they think that it's going to become a major issue. Like, for example, we would have recently had the CARICOM heads of government meeting. Was there a full report as to all of the issues that were discussed at the CARICOM heads of government report, or only some of the issues that end up being issues that, well, they had to face the public with, and so we had to come back and say something about this. Otherwise, it's going to get into the media and it could look away from us. Or should it have been, and should it be the norm for when they go and do these things to come back and report and say, okay, people, we went, these are some of the things, these are the things that we discussed, these were the things that we are faced with, we have not signed on, but we want to get your views and opinions where this is concerned so that we could make an informed decision. We are not getting that level of consultation. And that is why it seems problematic to those who are at the helm when you really start to hold them accountable. And because it has become the norm, seemingly, then we look like problem soldiers when you begin to say, okay, look, this is what you should have been doing. This is what you should do. But yeah, Burby Jones, as we're getting closer to wrap up time, Burby Jones saying the mansion looks like it was built for a king or queen, or for that matter. Boy, that's a whole, kettle of fish. The thing is though, Burby Jones, this is what we got to understand, that this was not something that came up overnight. I'm not sure how long that building would have been under construction, but even before it got to the construction stage, even before it even maybe got to the planning stage, it would have been a matter of discussion for the members of the ECCU, whoever body that governs the bank. And so if this would have been a matter of discussion amongst them, and they would have thought it fit to sanction it, then that's what I'm saying. Why are we, yes, it is our taxes, so we do have the right to be concerned and ask questions and so on. But this is what I'm saying. And this is why we have to, as practice, people start to realize the reality. These people who you elect, they are your servants. They are your highest paid servants. If you want to use the servant and king scenario, well, you are the kings. They are your servants. You hire them to work on behalf of you. Your expectations, hold them accountable. That is what you're expected to do. Their expectations is to seek to keep you quiet and not want to come to consult with them and ask them too much things, because they think that whatever they opt to do, you should settle with it. It is your responsibility, people, the electorate. These people are your servants. Nothing is wrong. As much as they might try to make you feel bad for doing what you're supposed to do by coming and asking questions, still do, because that is what you're supposed to do. And if they get offended by you doing that, then it demonstrates that they don't understand their responsibility, because their responsibility is to be the highest paid servants. And that is why, because you don't understand it, then they're able to come back at the end of the 5-year contract that you gave them, almost at the end, to play some little gimmicks with you and keep some party and start to visit you and so on, and bring a little, whatever it is, Roma, whatever it is that they think that you want to make you feel a little good for these 6 months or how much ever time before the elections. And then they get back in power and then play the cycle again for the next 4.5 years again. So you, the masses, have to be able to wake up and, change your mindset and your mentality and be able to hold these elected officials accountable. That is your job. That is your main job. Don't let them play no tricks on you. Even if it's me Virgin Banky here, because as I tell him just a while ago earlier, when and if you get in, let me say when, because he won it, so I'm going to be optimistic. When he win, the same way I am here pressuring the Minister of Agriculture, if Banky becomes the Minister of Agriculture, I'm pressuring him the same way. No ease up.
Of course. Definitely.
Not because me he cool.
Yes, sir.
When we on the road, may he go talk cool. But when it comes to the public business and the people business, we can bring him out there, we can throw him out there too, and then put the hard questions and put the whole challenges the same way. Because that is what I am supposed to do. When it come to his personal business, that's a whole different story. May getting in his personal life, wherever if he got whatever, you know what I mean? That is his personal. When it comes to the people's business, I holding him accountable. And it's the same thing I do for all of these other ministers. So when you hear me come here and hear me talk these things about agriculture and so on, I have no personal issues with no minister. As a matter of fact, right now, all the ministers who are in CCM right now, let me see to stand corrected. Well, Miss Nisbet, me and her taught together at Charleston Secondary School. We were you know what I mean? So I don't know that we have any personal issues. Eric Evelyn, like I said, Eric worked together at Van Radio for a number of years. I mean, you know, me facilitating the technical while he doing the news and other things like that. We have always had an open relationship. Same thing with Mr. Brantley. Brantley, when I used to be his technical guy for on the Mark show and all that, as far as I know, we have an open relationship. I mean, we would have had our few exchanges and so on on Facebook and so on. He blocked me, I mean, on the personal page and so. I mean, all that is his page, But who else they have, Troy. I personally, me and him has never really been like friends per se, but it's somebody I know personally. We would have had our exchanges on Facebook and issues and so on, but I don't have any, issue. Who I missed, anybody else I missed in terms of Mr. Brand, yes. Mr. Brand. I don't have any issues with Mr. Brand. Me and him, not necessarily chummy friends either, but somebody I know from Navy, somebody I would have communicated with.
These people is our slaves, These people is our servant, We need
our servants, exactly.
Understand. They're our servant.
It seems as if you dropped out a while ago, but that was exactly what I was explaining a while ago when you were out. So the whole thing, that is what I explained.
Yes.
So that's the reality, and that is what we need to do, hold them accountable. I just went through that to show that the reality is me. Yason Tafari, I have nothing personal against these guys, and I'm just showing how I am. Because if tomorrow, let's say right now, okay, we're talking, if tomorrow NRP is supposed to win election and they go in, I holding all the ministers to this with the same fire to their feet. And if you end up winning, as I tell you, and you go in there, it's the same thing me I do with you. Right here, if we plan the program together still, I will come and pressure you. And that's why the same way, I could let you know up front, as you get closer to the campaign and so on, and you start campaigning and so on, I'm going to be bringing me pressure questions to you the same way for you to answer. You know what I mean? And me not go, the people not going to feel, I want the people to know that me not go come. No, wait, hold on. I want the people to know that me not go talk to you first. Will let you know. No, I going to come and put you on the spot. Just like how I would put any other minister on the spot. You understand? So we need to, we as a people need to have that mindset so that we could get our elected officials to understand that the playing of the games of the parties and politics and the, trying to pit each other against each other can't work anymore. And that's why I want the young people to get more involved in debates also, so that they can really debate the issues. And when we talk about debates, the next level of debate now we really need is to, just like in America, when the Republicans running against the Democrats, they have a public open debate with the ministers. We need to have that. So we could have the two ministers, they're not one going on one platform and saying one thing and then the other cutting around. Let's have the two of them together and let's see, let them face the questions from the whoever and let us hear how they respond to it. It's time now that we get to that level in the federation. And I guess it's getting closer to that time for us to make the exodus and so on. So
yes, yeah, but I mean, but you're right with what you say. You see, accountability is the way forward, Yasan. Accountability is like I take on the challenge to the Indian castle and I know I can't do it, and just choose to do it and waste the taxpayers' money, and then say, Lord, I thought I could do it. Work so. Work so. You see what I mean? You gotta held accountable. You gotta be held responsible for when you're spending taxpayers' money and doing things efficient and make sure the resources are not being wasted and all these things, because it's taxpayers' money. And that's the sad, but around here, it is said what? Out of every dollar, almost 80%, 80 cents go to waste. That's a lot. You understand?
yeah.
So where all the money there go? Wastage, meaning in a that. You understand? Me not in that. You know what I'm saying? Just how my farm is automated. I got timers. Rotate, save water, efficient. Me not gonna water waste on my farm. You'll have farmers live underwater all night for days. Just a waste water. And the same thing, these are things that happen in on government estates and stuff like that. Because agriculture really have to pay for water and all these things. You really, the dance wouldn't pay for the light. You see what I mean? It is not conducive. What need to happen is to give up some of the estates and have one of the estate for a school farm to supply all the other schools with a garden. 'Cause all these things I have set with education department, with the nutritionist who was there at the time, Rene Daniel, because I work with so close with the schools and stuff like that to get a transfer and do different stuff, because I really wanted to work with this, because each school should have a garden, and the schools them spend so much money when it comes to the kitchen. They need an area that they have a school farm where people working on the farm and the food could be stored, and the supply is shared around to some of the schools. Even they have a garden where they don't have and the others, some of this stuff could also be sold, and the difference is split amongst the school, because the schools don't have no resources. I mean, you see school are always looking for something, they are always begging. Me not understand how school are begging, and they have a budget from the government, and they never have the money to buy this and to buy that. Me not get it.
These things ain't take rocket scientists to figure out these things, you know, but for some reason, by me, you know, for some reason, we are not getting it right.
Yeah, we choose not to get it right. We just don't care. That is the problem. We just don't care. Yes, sir.
So,
that is the problem.
As we are getting closer to wrap up, here's some of the last set of comments before we roll out, and Bobby Jones says, well, that mansion looked like it was built for a king or queen, for that matter. And he said, agreed. I am not certain what point that was to, but anyway. Elvan Ellie said, yes, son, I love your suggestion about debate. But remember, the premier said nobody going to debate him. If you want to get famous and you want to go to bed, but create your own farm, nobody going on his stage for where he worked hard for. I think I remember that comment, but I think
but those are petty stuff. Those are petty stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say that, you know, but I think I'm not certain though. I want to know, because there are two things at play here, which I'm not certain. Which is one, when we're talking about stage, I don't know if the debate was at for on his platform, meaning on the Mark show, because if so, then I could justify this statement. If not, if it was just to say, like, have a public debate, publicly,
that was referred to by he had made that statement because of one the host of Tell Me was talking about this same thing, and he was saying he's not going to put himself next to that person who want to get popular and all this different stuff. So that was a direct attack.
No. I know the person involved, but when I was the part I was talking about, I was trying to clarify in terms of the stage, because, like, okay, remember the platform, the Andy Mark platform, is a personally paid for show. That is a show paid for by Daniel Brantley and Associates. And if that is the argument, he would have been paying for that show for how much ever years and build that stage. So that's what I'm saying. If that was the argument, I could kind of see from that angle. But I'm not certain, because I don't remember exactly what the scenario was. I know what the scenario was, and I know who he was referred to, but I don't remember the scenario, if he was asked to do it on his platform or if it was done on asked for it to be done on
No,
2020 radio, or if it was asked to be done in public,
just
like just like how
in
Donald
public in
Trump
general.
and
It could be a
right.
media, it could be
So, well,
a neutral medium.
if it's a neutral medium, well, I don't justify this argument
Yes.
here. That's all
Yes,
I was trying to point
yes.
out. Like, if it was a neutral
Yes.
medium, well, I don't justify this argument here. But other than that,
Yes.
it's something that I think we should look
Yes.
forward to. So, listeners, in my closing, I think that this is something that we should seriously consider. And as we move into the next election, as they continue to claim that we are 90+% literate society and so on, and as we continue to encourage our young people to debate more and get more involved in debating and so on, I would encourage you to push and petition for your next election. If one new thing for the next election is to have that debate between the members who are running against each other. So looking forward to that, then I would look forward to hear the debate between, I guess if there's no other, Banky and Bran and JD, that debate, and maybe if anybody, because we don't know if any other new independent candidates will pop up, but we look forward to that. I want to say good night to everybody who would have participated and share the information on the wall. Those who called in, those who are going to eventually listen at some later point, and those who would have shared, whether via Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. I want to really thank you guys. You could have been doing so many other things on a Friday evening, but you have taken the time to stay with us and show us that at least you too have some serious interest in agriculture and the way forward for our people. And we do look forward to seeing you next Friday when we have another edition here on Real Entertainment Network. And also next week, Tuesday, prayerfully, I probably should have another edition of the topics, and look forward to that exclusive interview with Elvan Eli himself, also with the Real Entertainment Network team. And so I want to say good night to everybody, give thanks for the support, and continue to be the best you can. And whatever little thing you can do in your backyard, whatever it is, recycling your plastic bottles, dirt is almost everywhere, plant something. You buy your herbs, stick in the bottom in something, and they will grow. You buy your pepper, save some of the seeds, plant them in some pots. That way you could save yourself from maybe having to buy peppers again. It's just a little commitment. And even if you're working a day, you could water in the morning, and then when you come back home in the evening, just like if you have a pet. Like, that was one of my, Banky, and I think I maybe need to do that campaign again this year, Pet a Plant campaign. Just like how you have your pet, so you look after it. Buy a plant and take care of it. Let that be your pet. Learn as going, just like how you go on YouTube and learn how to take care of your pet. Go on YouTube and learn how to take care of that plant and give it all the nice treatment that it needs and so on. And the good thing is your pet will die eventually after a couple of years. But that plant, that fruit tree, whatever it is, it might last to your great-grandchildren. They might be able to eat off of the mango tree or that avocado tree or something. So with that little thought, I want to say thank you, everybody, and I look forward to you guys next week. Banky, give thanks for the opportunity to be a part of Everything Agriculture.
Yeah, man. Just want to say thanks for all those who sticking with us on this Friday evening. As Yason said, you all could be doing any other thing, but it shows that you all have that great interest when it comes to agriculture. I'm very overwhelmed to see that the general public have taken a toll and realized the seriousness of agriculture. I guess it's Trump got everybody frightened now and speaking and getting worried now and realize the seriousness of agriculture. Because before that, nobody seemed to really taking agriculture as serious as they should, but we have realized recently everybody talking about agriculture now on the forefront over and over and over because of all what's going on and all this tariff and all these situations with these eggs and all the different stuff. And there's a lot going on, and we've been talking about this over and over and over, Yasan. But it's just a matter of time how everything will work itself out. So it shows that we were on the right track all the time, even though some never figure that. Even them with a PhD don't speak agriculture. They speak everything every night on the shows and whatever it is, and they do not speak on agriculture. We're the only one who speak agriculture for 2 hours every week. And all these so-called politicians are those who want to run for electoral for office. They cannot speak on agriculture for 2 hours.
All right,
They speak on
and the
all kind
thing
of other
is,
topics,
the
and
thing
that's
is,
the sad
and the
thing.
thing
So
is,
how
we
you
got
going
so
to,
much thing to
yes,
talk about. We got so much things to talk about that the 2 hours ain't
but
enough.
that's the whole
You know
point.
what I mean? We just,
That's the
see, we
whole
just cutting
point.
it because we know that we've been here for a while. So I'm really
Yes.
hopeful that, yeah. But Ira and the team, enough respect, man. Everything.
Yes, Ira. But until Ira come back, yes, but definitely we appreciate you
Yeah.
guys
So you might have to link.
tuning in.
You might have to link up Ira. Yeah, Ira, link up Ira. I just wrap up the last percent. So give me a link and I'll just, in the meantime, folks, yeah, as I say, it's teamwork. So we have to link up our team member who is now a
I
real
don't send a
daddy,
message
so
that it finished.
he has daddy duties sometimes to really do it, and
Yes.
so we really try to, look out for everybody. Everybody on this team really make an effort, in terms of the contribution to make this reality. And I really want, the populace to share the link and encourage folks to log in to Real Entertainment Network, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our Twitch channel. And yeah, look forward to Everything Agriculture every Friday night. Then the topics on Tuesdays, and from time to time, well, next week Tuesday, as promised, the Real Talk Corner will be back with an exclusive edition talking about
Yes.
Anivision's experience with ICE. And, ICE and the immigration issue is one of the, popular things right now in terms of discussions and issues globally, especially in America. And so it would be
Yes,
very, very interesting to hear, that personal experience and perspective on the topic. So that's
Yes.
something that we look forward to. So I'm not sure if
Ira?
Ira is ready yet. Ira, if you're ready, you could just start to put in the music underneath so we could hear it, and then that would be the signal. So just give us a little music in the background. As soon as you start to play the music, I would know that you're with us, and then we could tell the people good night again. But yeah, well, Balby Jones saying great show. You guys were strong tonight. We really do. It's natural. It's not even like we try to be passionate and try
Yeah,
to
we're
put out
ready,
the
Ira.
issues.
Finish.
Yeah, it's a natural thing. So I will just put under the music. When I hear the music, I would know that you're ready, and then I will just say the last good night. So as long as you do that, we good to go.
I don't get him, so he's supposed to put in the music anytime now.
Yeah, as long
But
as
yeah,
you drop
man,
in the
definitely.
team track, we will know that that's what's going on. So yeah, people, and we do look forward to seeing you next Friday, and continue to support, the Navy's Agriculture Department. Continue to support the Real
I think next week is the
Entertainment
last
Network team.
registration is
Last
next week. The last for registration for anybody want to take part in for the Agriculture Open Day for the 27th and 28th. So to register, yeah, next week is the last week to register. So definitely, yes, son. It's amazing that people really take it serious now. Panicking right now.
Well, even though it's late, I'm happy. Because it's needed. It's late, but it's
Yes.
needed. And we really need to continue to do what we're doing. I mean, I give thanks, for the opportunity from you to be here. And for us doing this for about 5 years, like I said, it's a serious commitment. And I'm really glad that now we might be seeing some real tangible rewards from our effort over the years. And we want to continue to do that. You do your part, you're on the ground right there on Nevis, and doing your workshop and training and so on. So that's why I said, we're not just talking, and we demonstrate that we really want to see the difference, and we hope that we could have a lot more people on board. So Ira, just put in the team track underneath. Just let me see the team track so that we know you're ready, and then we just make an
You
extra
just
effort. No,
apply it.
thanks, Reese. We say at highlight, he's happy at the fact that we highlighted the show upcoming show and Real Entertainment Network.
man.
But yeah, man, we give thanks to the team and the efforts behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know all of the work that's put in. But these brothers and sisters, man, it's a lot of work. Alan, Reese, Chev, Ira, and the other
Looking
members who
forward
I
for
might
the
not
show.
even know about. You know, the Real Entertainment Network team, man, I really
Inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it.